Hey everybody, it's Kevin Davidson, your host for Kevin's Corner, real estate from a marketing perspective, and this is episode number 94. Very excited about today's episode because I have a first-time guest and a brand new friend from about a month ago, and a returning guest whom everybody will recognize. But I always have to say, starting off the podcast, that if you're seeing this podcast and you're a real estate agent or a vendor that operates in the Fort Bend County area, and you want to be on the podcast, give me a call, 832-654-0527, or email me at kevin.davidson@stewart.com, and I'll be more than happy to put you on the podcast. Also, I couldn't do the podcast if it wasn't for all my support staff. Jennifer Midas, the area president, Caitlin Cornick, Devin, Van Wynn in the Sugarland office, and now returning back to Stewart title, Gracie Lagos. And all of our support staff and everybody that works with us. So if it wasn't for you guys, could not do it. So I really appreciate it. And so let's get started with the podcast. This distinguished young gentleman sitting next to me, his name is, so I can get it right, Bayonle Arashi. He's not in real estate, but I wanted to bring him on the podcast because I think the who he represents and what he does is very important. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you work with?
Absolutely. I'm very excited to be here first and foremost on Kevin's Corner. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. My name is Bayonle Arashi, as you rightly said. I have the privilege of being the founder and the executive director of Midas Football Academy. Mm-hmm. Football as in soccer. Midas Football Academy. Okay,
not the Houston Texans.
We always have to say that clearly, right? Yeah. And our organization has a very simple mission. Our mission is to inspire the next generation of leaders and build them for success. There is a lot of statement packed in that two-liner. Mm-hmm. And that is for us to look beyond our generation, beyond my generation, beyond your generation, which I think is two different generations.
Wait, I'm not that old.
That's not what I mean, Kevin.
Oh my God! Did you hear what he said?
That is absolutely coming from a place of respect and honesty. That because you have to always know that it's not always about you. Right. It's about the younger generation. And I've had the privilege to live in this great country for a little bit over 11 years now. And before that, I'm from Nigeria originally. I have also been to about 17 countries covering the game of soccer, football, as a young broadcaster. I'm not that young anymore now. And coming to the United States, I couldn't find a broadcasting job, even though my coming here was an opportunity through an organization called Atlas Call, that they bring young Africans to the United States for a year to come and learn from an organization that does nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And that was my arrival here. And it was an opportunity that it doesn't come easy or to everyone. Mm-hmm. So I used that. I decided to say, okay, what can I also do? After that particular event, I couldn't find a broadcasting job. So I found myself working in a different industry entirely, which is the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as a correctional officer. And doing that job further confirmed my own purpose in life, which is how do I help the younger generation, and seeing that there are more troubled youth today than it has ever been. And that's what our organization does, to mentor this younger generation, these young folks, children, teenagers, young adults, to be able to navigate that rough path.
So you transitioned from the Texas Department of Corrections into what you're doing now with Midas.
Yes, sir.
And how long were you at TDC?
I was at TDC for 8 years.
Wow.
In fact, it was on the 8th year that I decided to say I've had enough, because there are also things that goes on with you as a staff working in the agency that's time will not permit me to talk about that today, because that's not why we're here. But you have to know that if you have a bigger calling, you have a bigger purpose, and you know you are needed outside more than behind the walls. Because I came about a particular decision or statement that while working as an officer, I'm always trying to say, okay, how can I help some of these already incarcerated folks? It don't matter what age, but you would find out one thing that is similar with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot help them.
Ah, really?
Yes, I literally have a couple of inmates that before they were released, prior to their release, they would tell you, boss man, that's what they call officers, boss man, I will be back. And when you're curious to ask, why would you be back, he will give you whatever reason. Some of them that I've had is, I don't want to pay no bills. I don't want to do no work. You hear there are so many of them. And this,
they'd rather have the TDC take care
because
of them.
TDC offers free accommodation. You have time to go to the rec yard. You have a free bed. You have free meals.
Really?
Even though the time they eat those meals is not comfortable as far as any human is concerned, some of them are satisfied with that. So even when they are released to the society,
but that's sad.
that's what you would think. They don't see it that way, and you would think it's probably just a statement until you actually see some of them coming right back. Mm-hmm. And the reason why you are able to see them back is because TDC also make it this way, that there are some of them that have some particular kind of ailment or sickness, so they can only serve their time at the particular unit. So I work at one of those medical units, and that's how I was able to have those kind of data. They are not data that is available to everybody. They are real-time data. Also, I also noticed that in 2021, 2022, after COVID, we have influx of younger people coming to the prison system than it has ever been.
Wow.
And this information is not what everybody knows. There are more people coming into the prison system today than it has ever been. Just watch TV. Just watch TV right now, no matter what time you're watching this podcast. Put on your TV and watch out for the first 3 stories. Look at the local channel in Houston in itself. I assure you that 1 or 2 of them is going to feature a young person that has just shot someone or that has just done something that is heading to prison.
Yeah.
So I decided to say, let me do something about it, and that's why the organization was founded.
Okay. Did you found Midas Football Academy?
Yes, I founded Midas Football Academy, and I will share the story with you real quick. Working as a young broadcaster since 1999, after my 3-year vocational education, I went to Government Technical College, studied radio and television communications. I got a job, and I started working, started moving up the ladder. But my biggest break was when I had a chance to go to the FIFA World Cup in 2006, hosted by Germany back then. And when I visited that nation, it was for a young man that grew up in, of course, a country as highly populated as Nigeria, educated, of course, and with a lot of things that did not help you to grow, to say, okay, you can do a lot of things. But seeing that there is so much that is possible, seeing a World Cup, I don't know if you ever experienced that before.
Not live.
But I'm sure you're going to experience it next year because the United States is hosting it. I decided
You taking me?
It's coming here, and it's coming to Houston and Dallas. So you better go. We can go get some tickets and go see a couple of
Greg
games.
Will pay for it. Greg will take care of it.
We can go see a couple of games. So going to the World Cup and seeing that young people ages 5, 6, 7 are playing the game up until 11 p.m. at night, because in the summer it's as bright as this studio right now, like daylight. So when I came back, I started asking my question: what can I do beyond being a broadcaster? You know, and I've always been this guy that is always curious, always thinking of what next. So I started a soccer academy. I have a couple of friends coming together in 2008 to say, okay, let's see how we can help the young kids to play. And in 2009, due to some of the friends that I made during the World Cup, we went for a youth tournament in Germany in 2009 with under 17 side, and to my surprise as well, we won that championship.
Really?
In not just Germany, we won it in Germany and Denmark, under 17 youth championship. And that was when I started seeing even the bigger picture. There's so much possible with this. And that was what qualified me to come for the event that I came to the United States with. It's like, okay, I'm trying to build an organization that does more than just training young people, that provide them an opportunity to dream big, to believe they can also play at the World Cup, but to start seeing the business side of it. So when I came to the United States, and I'm working in the prison system, and I see young people coming in, and I say, I have experience in this area. I've done this in my home country, and I believe that soccer, football, is a strong tool that you can use to change a lot of people's life. And if you add soccer to vocational pathway, to education, to mentorship, it can definitely give birth to more things. And that was why we started the organization 2 years ago. And we were granted our 501c3 less than 2 months after. And we believe that the future is very, very bright.
So tell everybody about the kids that are part of the Midas Football Academy that you mentor. Are they from all over the city? How old they are? What kind of family situation they're coming from?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking. We are focused on Fort Bend County. We're a Fort Bend County founded organization, and we focus at the moment on kids ages 5 to 18 years old, the age of adulthood. But at the moment, our programs serve kids ages 5 to 15 because of the resources that we have. And most of our kids are from underserved communities. And this is one thing that a lot of people living in Fort Bend County are probably not aware of, that there are underserved communities in Fort Bend counties. There are kids that cannot pay.
You can't see it.
There are kids that cannot pay $100 a month to play soccer. And there are soccer teams in this city that charge $300, $500 a month for a kid to play soccer. So we are the one that are bridging that gap, that it doesn't matter what your skill level is, no matter what your parents' financial status is, we never turn you back. So we call our system right to play, not pay to play. So at the moment, we have about 30-something kids in our program. We charge a registration and membership fee of $70 a month. Among those 35 kids that we have, less than 11 of them pay the fee. But guess what? We're still operating. They still show up, and we're still looking for a way to affect even more kids. But what we believe that Fort Bend County is a strong community that supports projects such as ours, that want to see a better community. Richmond, Sugar Land, and other areas in Fort Bend County always very support, just like you are supporting right now with this opportunity. So we're going to come out and tell our story to say, okay, we want to do more. We want to have an after-school program. We have a vision of building a facility that can actually have these kids for 5 years, where they're going to come at the age of 13, graduate at the age of 18, and on their graduation, they will have 3 pathways. One, they are graduating and signing their first professional contract to be a soccer player at the age of 18 with any club in the world. That's one of our first pathways. The second one is at 18, which is also the age most kids graduate high school. You can go to college on scholarship, all expenses paid, through our organization. And the third one, which we also know is very important, is vocational education pathway. If you cannot play soccer, if you are not very good and you know you cannot be a professional, if you don't want to go to the university or college, get a vocational education.
Learn a trade.
So you can be able to use that skill to serve your community. That's our big goal for the next 5-7 years. But at the moment, we are doing after-school program. We have training 2 times a week that we train at Four Corners Recreation Park on Old Richmond and Highway 6. And we also have after-school program. That's how we are making impact at the moment. And we also have a youth resource program that we call Iwuri, which means aspire in English. And that provides resource for teenagers and young adults that are in that state of, what do I do with myself?
Okay.
And give them that resources to transit from that teenage year to adulthood. We provide them, okay, you have TSTC, they offer vocational education that you can go earn a certificate. HCC offers, and these kids don't know this. Our organization bridge that gap to show them those resources are available, and that's what we intend to do going forward.
Okay. Why don't we show everybody, you have 2 books in front of you.
Absolutely.
Why don't you tell everybody, you wrote both these books.
Yes, I did.
So for a few seconds, why don't you tell everybody what each book's about?
Thank you again for the question. This is my first published book that I wrote in 2020. It's an 8-year project, I call it. I started writing it in 2012 after started seeing that, okay, I can see a pattern here. Travel to different countries, seeing how powerful the game of football is. And I'll keep saying soccer and football. So if you're watching, you got to forgive this man. That's what we call it. And I said, okay, let me start sharing the general traits I've seen on how people can actually use this sport to become a professional. And I started writing. So this book provides a pathway to anyone that wants to play the game of soccer or any sport. It is titled Roadmap to a Successful Football Career, and it's on Amazon and or wherever they sell books, and that's what the first book is about. So I released it in 2020. The second one is about what I was telling you earlier about when I work in the criminal justice system. Some of the things that I see or that I've had, they are not things that you can share on podcast. People will not believe it to start with.
Yeah, there's things that you don't want to talk about.
People will not believe it first and foremost, and people will be like, does that really happen? And that's what this is about. Sharing with people that there is 1 step between making the right choice and making a bad one, and what the power of choices can do for you, that you can either make yourself or destroy yourself. So this is not just a book about me. It's about it's a book that can help you to transition from that young, troubled teenager, or even if you are not troubled, if you don't want to experience it at all, get a copy of this book. It's titled The Gray and White Line. And the reason for that title is very simple. The officers in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice wear gray as a uniform, while the inmates wear white. So I'm that gray that was walking in white line. And that's what the book is all about.
Is this also available on Amazon?
It's also on Amazon as well, and everywhere they sell books.
So we got this one, and then we also got this one, guys. They're both available on Amazon. All right. As we wrap up this segment of the podcast, where is Midas Football Academy located in Fort Bend County?
We are on Old Richmond and Highway 6. That's where our soccer training ground is, and we operate mainly in Fort Bend County. So we serve the entire county. If we have any program that you want us to come and do a resource program, you want us to come and do a special soccer session, we are open to that. And you can find out more about us on our website, www.midasfa.org. Midas is spelled MIDASFA.org. That will explain more about what this organization stands for. And we are excited about the future. We believe there's so much more coming.
So if someone's out there watching the podcast and they are interested in anything that you had to say today,
yes, sir.
Whether it be Midas Football Academy, your past with TDC, or just want to talk to you about something because you seem like you're very inspirational, you have a story to tell, and you just want to help people.
Thank you.
How do they get a hold of you?
I have a personal website, which is my own personal brand. My name, BayonleArashi.com, is my website. I do leadership coaching for one-on-one coaching for young people beyond my nonprofit, to support my nonprofit organization. I'm also a book publisher, obviously, and that's my website, BayonleArashi.org, or through the Midas Football Academy website, and they can also call me on my cell.
What's the phone number?
My cell is 346-404-9965. Again, it's 346-404-9965.
Awesome. So you guys, if you need to get a hold, or you would like to get a hold of Bayonle for any reason, please give him a call. I met you about a month and a half ago or so. We're both members of the same B&I chapter here in Fort Bend County, or Sugar Land. And he's got a great story, and he can help kids. He can help pretty much anybody, the youth, young people. So if you're a young person out there and you're watching this and you're struggling, you want to talk to somebody, or if you just want to learn how to play soccer,
or any other sport, we can get you there. We can get you there. We can get you ready.
Give me your phone number one more time.
The number again is 346-404-9965.
So this is Bayonle Arashi with Midas Football Academy. Give him a call, guys. I know he can help you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
I really enjoy this, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this podcast
We could probably talk about this all day,
becoming world famous. I think that's
Yeah.
going to happen because important discussion is going on here.
Well, world famous.
Yes, that's very possible.
Yeah, help
There's
me.
no impossibility.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we'll be back with segment number 2 of episode number 94 of Kevin's Corner, marketing from a real estate perspective in about 2 seconds. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, we're back with episode number 94 of Kevin's Corner, real estate from a marketing perspective, and we were just talking with Bayonle Arashi from the Midas Football Academy. Not real estate related, but the man's doing great work with the youth here in Fort Bend County. So give him a call if you're interested in soccer or you know somebody that needs to just talk to somebody about some things.
Absolutely. It's hard to follow that because, I mean, what an amazing story.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. So he's doing some really good things. So, but not to diminish our second guest, Gregory Gray from the Loan Signing Agency.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody what you do, man.
Well, our number one job is to protect reputations and to build lasting relationships with title companies and signers and notaries all across the country. We work for lots of different title companies. Right now, currently, our clients are in Texas, Tennessee, and Nevada. We're in the process of expanding into Florida, but we do signings all over the country. We've done signings in all 50 states. Last year, we did a little over 2,000 signings utilizing about 600 notaries.
So tell everybody that's watching, you keep saying signings. What does that mean?
Okay.
What do you literally
What
do?
is a signing?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you do a real estate transaction, you have two sides. You have the buyer and you have the seller, okay? So when somebody sits down with the buyer or the seller, that is a signing. And sometimes you may have multiple because you may have multiple sellers and they may be in different locations. And so each one of those is a signing. And so we facilitate the buyer or the seller having that closing outside of the title company.
I was just fixing to say, why do you facilitate it as opposed to the title company doing it? It's because it's not happening at the title company.
It's not happening in the title company. And sometimes we even do it, as we've done here, when you're just overloaded with business. We come in and help. But typically total relief.
Relieve the escrow officers. So,
Absolutely.
So one of the scenarios is that I get a lot is, well, what happens if my seller is in Tennessee and the property's here in Fort Bend County or in Houston? You know, they're not going to be in the state of Texas to do the signing.
That's where we come in. Your escrow officer will reach out to us, and we'll facilitate that with a local notary, and we'll make sure that it happens on time and it happens the way it's supposed to, and that the person performing the closing is actually certified and experienced enough to be able to do it well.
Yeah, and handle anything that might come up during the signing.
Absolutely.
Now, so you own your own loan signing agency franchise, or what do you call it?
No, it is. I own the company, and then we contract with the notaries all across the country.
Okay, so all right, so you have people all across the country that are certified as a notary, and they're on your basic list of, basically your list of notaries that can be used in other parts. Right. But you vet those people, right?
Right. No, we start from a database of about 50,000 notaries across the country. But then we personally interview, we look at their credentials, we make sure they have the proper credentials, and that they have a recent background check, and they have errors and omissions insurance. There's a lot that goes into it. And so out of those 50,000 or so notaries, we're currently only utilizing about 900.
Okay, 900 out of 50,000. Yeah. And those 900 are located all over the country or all over the world?
Well, all over the country.
The country.
Now, when we utilize remote online notaries, which we have a team here in Texas, we have a team in Tennessee, Virginia, Nevada. Those notaries, they may be signing with people anywhere in the world.
Okay. And what are some of the things that might come up Well, let's start at the beginning. What are some of the things that you would recommend that anybody that's going to be involved in one of your signings or one of your notary people would recommend people involved in a signing that they make sure that they come to the table with? What are some things to not do or to, you know what I'm saying?
The very first thing that I would say is make sure you communicate with your agent as early in the process.
The real estate agent.
Their real estate agent. Communicate with them early in the process as possible so that they can notify the escrow team that you're not going to be on site to sign. Don't wait till the very last second because that makes it more difficult.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, they need to have valid ID. And a valid ID does not mean a Costco card. It has to be a government-issued card with a signature, a
You
picture,
just
and an
upset my
expiration.
wife.
Yes,
you
I know.
just upset her.
I did. Well, I didn't do it on purpose because she's amazing, but that's not what I was. But I've actually had people say, "Well, I've got my Costco card. Can I use that?" No, you can't.
No, it's got to be a government
A
issued
government-issued card with an expiration date, a picture, and a signature.
And the expiration date has to be valid.
Has to be valid. It can't be. We can't sign at 12:01 if it expired 2 minutes ago.
Now, does a driver's license and or a government issued ID that's not a driver's license, do those both qualify?
Now say that again.
So you can get a driver's license or you can just get a government issued ID.
Yes, either one of those qualify.
Both, okay.
Passport qualifies.
Passport qualifies. Okay.
Any one of those three.
As long as
And it
they're
can be-
valid.
as long as they're valid, and it can be a driver's license or ID from any state. It doesn't have to be Texas. It could be in any state. Or a valid passport. That also works.
So if I'm signing in Texas, but I don't have a Texas driver's license, I have a Tennessee driver's license, that still works?
It's perfectly fine.
As long as it's valid.
And vice versa.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. What are some of the things that you should not do?
Well, should not do. You should not be late. You should not bring your ID.
Well, okay.
And you should not expect the notary to be able to give you legal advice or give you advice on any of the information in the documents, because the notary is only allowed to present the documents and help you execute them. That is all.
Whose responsibility is it to educate you on what you are signing?
Ultimately, it comes down to you and your agent having a conversation. And if you don't know enough, you need to contact your lender, because the lender is the one that creates the majority of the documents. So
Okay.
You can get
What
with your
about-
lender.
Well, I guess the title company wouldn't be involved because you're doing it off-site.
You still can call your escrow team, absolutely, and
Okay.
and they can fill in any blanks. You know, your typical signing agent can answer a general question, you know, such as this document's name is this, and you can read right here, and it'll tell you what this document means. They can point you to the right place in the document to understand the document. If you need more than that detail, you can always call your escrow team right from the signing table. Your notary is equipped to be able to do that for you, because they know who to call and where to call.
Okay.
And that can give them the data. And if that's not enough, then you need to call your lender or your agent, and they can fill in the other gaps.
Something that comes up a lot, at least with me and the agents that I deal with, is I need somebody that speaks Spanish, and
Right.
I don't have an escrow officer here that, well, I do now, but I didn't in the past.
Right.
So is that also something you can help with?
We do that all the time.
What, other than Spanish, what other languages can you help with?
Spanish, Vietnamese, Mandarin, Russian. I'm trying to think of another one. Those are the big ones right off the top of my head. Those are ones we've
So
done
even
before.
Russian, really?
Even Russian, yeah.
Wow.
In fact, we just took on a new Russian-speaking notary in Colorado this week.
What about Italian or French?
I would imagine I can. You know,
Probably
we
find
would
one.
fall back onto our database.
Yeah.
Here's one that you haven't asked, but you probably haven't even thought about. But American Sign Language.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sign language.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have
and
someone that can do that.
We have a notary. We have a couple of notaries in the Houston area that can do ASL.
Okay. Sweet.
We did one. In fact, we did one about a month ago in Wisconsin.
Okay. So if you're a real estate agent and you're watching this podcast and you need someone that speaks a specific language, here at Stewart Title, Sugar Land, and Richmond, even if I don't have someone in the office that can do it, this man can make sure and make it happen. So don't let that shy you away from using Stewart Title or any title company for that matter.
Any title company, because this is a team. Real estate's a team sport, and it takes all of us to get these transactions. To get our signers across the finish line, and that's the whole point.
So, are you looking to grow your network? Are you looking to grow your team?
Always.
So, are you? If someone is if someone is just a certified notary public,
right?
Does that qualify them to be on your list?
It starts the process.
Okay.
They're going to have to get signing agent certification from the National Notary Association.
Okay.
And they're going to need to get some mentoring, because when you go to a signing, you're wearing two hats. You're wearing your notary public hat, but then you're wearing your signing agent hat that is really more of a representative of title. So there's some things you have to learn, and we do that with a lot of new notaries on a regular basis.
So you don't have to have experience in title, real estate title?
No.
Okay. But you learn that along the way.
You learn it along the way.
Okay.
Well, if you're applying yourself, not everyone applies themselves, but if you apply yourself, you learn all of that along the way.
Okay. And then you said Texas, Tennessee,
and
Nevada.
We have clients there.
And you're fixing to be operational in Florida. What other states are on your list for the future?
Arizona. Basically, what we're planning on doing is adding Arizona and Florida and increasing our client count in Tennessee and Nevada.
Okay. All right. And then we don't necessarily have to talk about numbers, but how do you charge for your services?
We charge based on what type of signing it is. So if it's a buyer, there's one fee, and if it's a seller, it's usually because there's fewer papers and it takes longer. It's less. And then if your escrow team needs it scanned back and uploaded to the portal so that your escrow team can have it back ASAP, there's a little extra fee for that.
Okay. And then is there an extra fee if we need someone that speaks a different language?
No.
No. You just request it.
You just request it, and we'll get it set up.
Okay.
And we do signings pretty much any time of the day.
All right.
I've done a signing at 4:30 in the morning for a service member in Austria.
Oh wow. Okay. Because it was more convenient for them.
It was the only time of the day that they had access to a computer.
Really?
During their lunch period.
Okay. So you set your alarm and got up and did it then?
He did it, and I warned them ahead of time I was not going to be in my full uniform.
No. And probably not in the best of moods.
No, I was in a good mood. Totally in a good mood, because they were serving us over there, so I was going to be nice to them, but I wasn't going to be be
Yeah.
not like you. Yeah, I know you're pretty all the time.
Well, my head's shaved, so it always looks the same.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? How do you generate leads? How do people find you? How do people, other than, I know you door knock on title companies and everything like that.
But I'll be honest. The way we get most of our business is word of mouth. It's very common, especially with Stewart Title. We had one, 3 or 4 months ago. It was for an office that we had been wanting to, that I had been marketing to, and their signing service. It was a tricky situation, and they needed a male notary to go out there, and the signing service couldn't get it done, and so the branch manager called another branch manager, and they said, you got to get Greg because he'll get it done. And we had a male notary out there within an hour. It was like the end of day, and we had it signed and done by 6:30.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And then, do you promote your loan signing agency business on social media?
I'm all over social media. We have we've got pages for 6 of our offices plus our main page, and then I'm on I have my own personal page that I do more promotion with than anything. So,
what platforms?
Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn.
Okay. Do you have a Google My Business page?
I do have a Google My Business page because there was somebody that taught me that was the number one I had to have.
Yeah. I don't know who that was.
I can't imagine who that was. Kevin Davidson.
What about YouTube?
YouTube. That is in the works. I'm about to start up that.
Yeah, you said that last time.
No, I know, but this time I've actually gotten the green screen set up. And,
okay, so you're gonna start doing videos.
I've got the tripod, and I'm gonna start doing videos. In fact, I'll be doing some excerpts from this video.
Okay.
And
awesome.
yeah. So
awesome.
Yes, I know I said it last time, but it's still, we're much closer than we were.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I want you guys to get out of this conversation is, yes, there's thousands of people out there that are certified notary public, but people like Greg, who've been doing this for a while, runs his own company, has his own list of notaries that are vetted, know what they're doing. It's a lot different than just calling someone that says, I'm a notary public, what can I get you signed?
Right.
So you guys gotta, if you need someone like this, that you need something signed that's either not in office or the people are out of the country or out of the state or whatever, you got to give Greg a call.
Well, I appreciate that. And, we're another tool in the agent's tool belt. Mm-hmm. And that's how agents really build their value to their customers, is having lots of tools and being able to fix them in any situation.
Well, surround yourself with vendors that are going to make you look good.
Absolutely.
And your story a second ago about getting a guy out there in an hour, that makes them look good.
All the time.
The agents and the title company that was involved in that whole transaction. So, and you've made us look good over and over and over and over and over again. So tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Yes. All right. So you can go to theloansigningagency.com. You can look up that on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X. And Gregory Gray is my name. You can reach us at 346-291-7467. That's 346-291-7467. And you can email us at orders@theloansigningagency.com.
There you go, folks. So if you're looking for a very reputable and reliable service that will get your documents signed and notarized when they're not in-house or even in the state of the country, the Loan Signing Agency can do that for you. Give me the phone number one more time.
346-291-7467.
Thanks for coming on the podcast again.
Absolutely. My pleasure. As always.
Yes, sir. This has been episode number 94 of Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from Marketing Perspective. We're getting real close to 100, so when I get there, it's going to be a big party. Like I said in the opening of the podcast, if you are a vendor or an agent that wants to be on the podcast, you follow me, you subscribe, give me a call, 832-654-0527, and I'll put you on the calendar. Thank you to Jennifer Midas, Caitlin Kornick, Devaney Devon, Van Wynn, and Gracie Lagos from the Richmond office, and everybody else that works for us. And like I always say, if you're an agent in the Houston area and you need title services and you're not using Stewart Title, shame on you. I will sooner or later find out who you are, and you will hear from me. Or I'll sick Greg on you, one of the two. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.